Psalm 29, verse 10. The Lord sat as king at the flood. Yes, the Lord sits as king forever. I love this verse because this is David's reflection on the worst calamity that had ever happened in the world until his day. The flood. I mean, we think about calamities that we experience in our day and age. There are earthquakes that have killed hundreds of thousands of people. There are all kinds of storms that have wiped out thousands and thousands of people. There's terrorist attacks like 9/11 where thousands of people die because of a terrorist attack, and we think these are tragic events. Those are nothing compared to a global flood where only 8 people survive. That is a cataclysmic event unlike anything that we have seen in our history. And I love David's reflection on that in verse 10. Where was God during the flood? Ruling, reigning. The Lord sat as king at the flood. The flood was not out of God's control. At the worst moment in human history to David's day, he says God is still sovereign in that moment. God is king in that moment. He is reigning. He is accomplishing his will and his good pleasure in that moment. And I love this verse because it covers everything that happens in life, doesn't it? These are exciting times at Desert Hills Bible Church because just this week, multiple families welcomed new babies. And that's always exciting. It's always exciting when babies are born and families are growing and these things are happening in the life of our church, and we see the excitement and the joy on these young parents' faces, these new moms and new dads. Or maybe they're welcoming in child number 3, 4, 5, 6, or whatever it is, and they're just so excited because it never gets old. It's always an occasion of joy. And we had several of those this week. But we've also had people this week who have lost loved ones. We've had people this week who found out they had terminal cancer in our congregation. We have people who have relationships that are broken. And that got worse this week. Relationships that have been severed. And these are trying times, grievous times, difficult times for them. And the beauty of this doctrine and the beauty of this verse is that God sits as king in all of it. He's sovereign over it all. So whether you're on the side of this is a week that I spent rejoicing because of amazing good things that happened, or this is a week I spent in tears because I found out I'm going to lose my spouse or I lost a loved one, God sits as king. God hasn't lost control of your life. God hasn't lost control of the universe. God is reigning. And he always will be. That's what David says at the end of the verse, right? Yes, the Lord sits as king forever. There's never an event that's going to come our way that will dislodge God from his throne. His kingdom is eternal.